Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Paul Romero with the Sell a House Wholesale Real Estate Training number 140. Hey, look at that, number 140. I got to make a quick note here about something there. All right, 140 on this Wednesday, July 15th, 2015. Let's see here. What did we cover on New Op Day? Oh yeah, we covered our ass on New Up Day. That's what we covered. Powerful subject covering your butt there. You know, I talked about the whole idea of different changes coming down the pike, different ways that this business might be, you might be having to run your business, outside entities, governmental, changes, rules, laws, et cetera, and so on that are really putting the clamps on wholesaling. They don't like us out here making money, doing it the cowboy way, because obviously it doesn't fall within the norm. It doesn't create, another sheep. We're the wolves out there who are picking off the sheep, and they don't like that. They like to get all the wolves caged up into a cage so that they can wimp around like little sheep. And that's what the problem is, and that's who we are as wholesalers. I don't mean that we're wolves in a bad way. We're hunters, we're loners. We do things, we like to do things our own way. We don't like to follow the herd, stay with the flock, so to speak. And that's what rules and laws are made for, is to keep everybody in line, to keep everybody safe, and to keep everybody from stepping out and doing something different and unique and bottom line, making any damn money in this world. So with all of that in mind, and with some of the things that we talked about on Monday, I'm going to throw another one in there on you. We also talked about keeping in control of your deals with other wholesalers and with buyers and things like that, and all very, very important stuff, because as I said, they don't like us out there, doing things outside the regular norm of getting a real estate agent and going to the MLS and buying properties for way too much money and all this BS. The way to do real estate, the right way, screw all that. And they don't like it, and they want it shut down. And it eventually, wholesaling, I guarantee you eventually, I don't know if it'll be in my lifetime, but wholesaling will be shut down. There's going to be rules and laws in place that prohibit it. I mean, look at Dodd-Frank. You can't even freaking sell your own house by, doing seller financing. I mean, seller financing was a great way to set yourself up with passive income for a lifetime. A great way to put yourself in a position to be able to retire with income coming in and have, but knock that out. We can't have people living free and having income that they're not working for. Oh my God, how do we stop that? And so sure enough, Dodd-Frank shuts down freaking, seller financing. So now you can't go out there and, buy. I mean, literally right now, if Dodd-Frank wasn't in effect with some of the deals that we're getting, we could be buying them, we could be selling them on seller financing, getting, what we're buying them for as a down payment. So we've got our investment money back, and setting ourselves up with a 30-year payment plan. But no, that's not good, because you're not out there, qualifying people, and you're not, who gives a crap? You guys weren't out there qualifying people either, and this was long before Dodd-Frank hit. And you guys weren't out there qualifying people. You were giving anybody and their dog a freaking loan, and that's your own fault. But now you put it on us. You try to put that blame on the investors, that it's the investors that we have to create this for. We have to protect you from the investors and herd you down the funnel towards the real wolves, the banks. So that was shut down. I mean, yeah, you can still do it. You can do a couple here and there. There's a couple other ways that you can kind of set that sort of thing up. Very, very very, very creative ways that not all title agencies know about. It's not something that's real easy to do, but there's still some ways that you can do some things with that. Lease optioning is one, and uh, contract to purchase is another. So uh, there's still some ways to kind of get around that, but you know what? They're going to shut that stuff down, and eventually they're going to shut wholesaling down. And right now, with wholesaling, you're making fat front end assignment fees, and you're probably going to have to start giving away a chunk of that money that you made. So instead of doing assignments, you're doing double closes now, because it's full disclosure. Everybody has to know what you're making as the wholesaler here. So your seller's going to know what you're making, your buyer's going to know what you're making, everybody's going to know what you're making, everybody's going to see at the closing table, oh wow, you bought this for, you're buying this from me for $100,000 and you're selling it to this guy for $130,000. You can't make $30,000 on my property, you know. So they're capping us. It's okay. You can do this. It's okay if you only make $7,000. That's okay. You can continue doing what you're doing, but you can only make $7,000. So your ability to negotiate a great deal is worthless. Who cares if you can negotiate a great deal? You're just another sap. You can negotiate the best deal you want in the world, and you could be able to make a freaking $75,000-$100,000 spread, $200 million spread. But no, nice job, great negotiation, but sorry, we have to tell them how much money you're going to be making now. So if they don't like how much money you're going to be making, they can say, screw you, not going to do this deal with you. I want that money. It's a seller's, it's, in my opinion, it's your home, it's your life, it's your obligation to do what's best for you. I mean, everything else in this world, you have to do it all on your own. Nobody's doing any of that for you. Nobody's telling you, how to, nobody's showing you how to go sign up for a website that, to pay your bills on and to go in there and do all this stuff the right way. Nobody cares about that. Here, just go do that, but no, when it comes to, your own life, you have to be regulated, just like seatbelts, sure, seatbelts save lives, but you know what? I'm an adult. It's a decision I should be able to make for myself. If I don't want to wear a seatbelt in the car because they're uncomfortable as heck, I don't care what anybody says. They're uncomfortable. And if I don't want to wear a seatbelt in a car, that's my objective. Motorcycle helmets. If I don't want to wear a helmet on a motorcycle, I shouldn't have to wear a helmet on a motorcycle. That's my objective. I'm an adult. It's my choice. If I want to take the chance of dying while I'm out there having fun, that should be my choice. Big deal. I know somebody else died. I'm sorry. It happens. Everybody's going to die eventually. Why not let somebody die while they're doing what they enjoy doing? What a better way to go. I'm sorry. I just, all this protect the public, BS cloak being, draped over. I'm just tired of it, So anyway, getting back into real estate here, the whole wholesaling thing going away. What was I talking about? The double close. Why the double close? Again, if you're making fat assignment fee, if you put your negotiating skills to the test and you went out there and you negotiated a great deal with this seller, and you can turn around, you can sell this thing, and you can make a fat profit off of it, you better be doing a double close, because if you don't do the double close and you just assign it over, when they go to the closing table, now it's another story if for some reason maybe it's a foreclosure, their back's up against the wall, and you're coming in at the last minute to purchase this property and prevent the foreclosure. Well, hey, you know what? Their back's against the wall. They have no choice. The foreclosure is going to happen next Thursday. They could be like, hey, I don't know. I don't have any other choice really. Let's just go ahead and let it sell. Let this guy make his money. I'm getting what I wanted here. You know, that's the whole thing. See, seller's getting what they wanted. You negotiated a deal with the seller, and the seller's getting what they wanted. The seller is getting something that makes them happy. Okay, isn't that good enough? Seller's getting something that makes them happy. What's it matter what makes them happy? It's their choice. They made the choice. Hey, this is good enough. This makes me happy. Sign right here. You know, as long as, I mean, you should be able to put a disclosure in your contract that just says, you know, seller was in no way coerced or bullied or, you know, pressured into, you know, signing this agreement. Seller has negotiated this of their own free will and is completely satisfied with the sale of this property at this price, and it does not care what the, you know what, maybe we can do that. Does not care what the purchaser does with the property, whether they make $1 or $1 million or they lose their ass on it. You know, seller doesn't care. They're getting something. They've negotiated something here and within this contract that makes them happy. Maybe that's a clause we need to put in our contract. So boom, and there it is, seller. You're agreeing right now that this is all good with you, and you don't care if I take this property and sell it for $1 million and make $950,000 off it. You're okay with that. That's what this line right here says. Sign it. Okay, bingo, there you go. Now I can go do this contract and I can close at the end of the day. Hey, there's an idea, just thought of a way around it. I don't know, maybe that is a way around it, maybe it's not. Maybe that's a worthless, means nothing, it won't be accepted. I have no idea. But anyway, yeah, so if you get a contract at a great deal and boom, you take it to the closing, table, you go out, you find your buyer, you bought it for 100,000, you're selling it for 130. And then all of a sudden you get to the closing table and the title agent is required to say, okay, here's the breakdown. You're selling it for this. These are the costs that are associated with the sale as it's negotiated in the contract. The buyer is paying all of those costs, but the buyer here in the middle is not paying any of those costs because the buyer in the middle isn't actually buying the property. What they're doing is they're selling it to this buyer over here, and they're selling it to this buyer over here, and they're going to pay all those costs, and they're selling it to this buyer for 130,000. So you see right here, you're selling it for 100, and they're selling it to this guy for $130,000. Is that okay with you? Go ahead and sign here. And if the seller goes, well, wait a second, they're making $30,000. I can just sell why can't I sell my own property for $30,000 more? If they can do that, if they can find those people and make that, why can't I, right? And there's going to be plenty of people that think that way. Plenty of people. And even though they might not be able to, you know, I mean, it is true. I mean, they might not be able to do that. But I think most people will think along the lines of, I'm not selling to this guy if he's making 30 grand off my property. Shoot, I can probably at least get another 15 out of it myself if I turn around and sell it to somebody else. So no, I'm done here. Forget that. I ain't signing that. This deal's over. I'm out of here. And even though you have a signed contract with them, at that point in time at the closing table with that disclosure, they have now the right to go ahead and abolish your contract and walk. Or do they? I don't know. Do you have a legitimate contract? Are you now going to go after these people and sue them, you know, for breach of contract, for not closing on that deal that you put together? Is that somewhere that we have to go with this? I mean, you know, it's just ridiculous. Seller negotiated a completely satisfying agreement. Great. Who cares? I don't care what you're doing with the property. There you go. Move on. I'm out of here. Give me my money. When can I leave? You know, that's, I mean, just, it gets me. Just gets me how we have to protect everybody so much. You know what? Stop protecting me. I'm an adult. I can protect myself here, all right? That's the way it is. You know, there's just, it's been ingrained into our society so much that we have to be protected by the government from so many things, and now they're stepping in and protecting us from things that they shouldn't be protecting us about. And anyway, with that, some of the other things that I've heard of recently that could potentially be coming your way, our way, who knows what way, is selling properties. This was an interesting one. We sold a property that we actually had under contract. That we actually, yeah, we got under contract with the seller. We actually closed on that property. We purchased the property outright, didn't do a double close. We purchased it outright, and then we turned around to sell it. And when I go in to sign the selling documents, uh, or no, we expected it to close on one day, on a certain day, and then we heard, well, no, we haven't got the inspection back yet. Inspection? What are you talking about inspection? We're just selling a property here. Well, even though we're selling a property to a cash buyer, now they're required to get an inspection for the underwriters that shows that there was no work having been done from the time we bought it to the time that they're buying it, because, quote, there's been a number of liens being filed on properties, which is BS. There hasn't been liens being filed. You know what it is? It's a way to slow down it's a way to slow down your flipping. You know, that's all it is. I just bought this property for cash, and I have to wait for this inspection before I can sell it now. You know what I mean? Can't just turn around. I can't buy this property. I could close this property today. I could turn around tomorrow, sell it to you for cash purchase, cash sale, turn around, sell it to you tomorrow. You could walk into escrow, close it the next day. You know, hey, you just did the title work. You know, I mean, how hard is it to do the title work again? You just did it, right? Okay, give us 3 days, 5 days, whatever, right? Walk in there, boom, so no, can't do that now. Have to get this inspection done. And they're backed up, of course. There's always an excuse. They're backed up. Everybody's always backed up. Well, you know what? If you're so damn backed up, drop the program because you can't keep up with your shit. Okay. I'm serious though. I mean, so yeah. So now you got to get this inspection. You got to wait a week to get this inspection done because they're backed up. You could have closed this property 5 days ago. You know, so now it's, you know, it's just a way to slow things down. And we were talking about it yesterday, my partner John and I. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, the other thing now is too that, you know, if I was going to sell that property to an end buyer, to a finance buyer, I can't. I mean, what's to say I can't, you know, why can't I buy a property today, go in there, kick ass, do a rehab, and freaking knock this thing out in like 2 weeks and turn around and sell it at a great price and have somebody come in and go, wow, this is a great price, this is a great house, I'll freaking take it, you know, I'm pre-qualified, everything's ready to go, let's buy this thing, I want to move in next week, right? Everything's in place, everything's perfect, it's all lines up, right? But no, you can't sell that property because you just bought it. You can't sell it to a finance buyer for 90 days after you bought the damn thing. So what? I got to sit here and hold this property while I got a guy drooling to buy it. I got to just sit here on my butt, pay a couple more months of interest for no freaking reason. Just so, for what? Why does this thing have to sit here and season for 90 days? BS. It's just a way to take more money out of your pocket, eat into your profit, spread more money out to the, you know, mainstream, quote, proper way to do real estate channels, you know, so that the inspectors can get a little piece of the pie, so that the you know, the hard money lenders can get a little piece of the pie, so that, you know, everybody can get their little piece of the pie. You know, that's what it's all about. And so that's an interesting little one there. What was the other one that I heard the other day about? Uh, it was about your contracts. It's about selling and flipping and assigning, but it was, I can't think of what it was right now. Something about, oh yeah, something about the fact. Well, two things actually. Well, number one, a big one is the fact that, you know, you have equitable interest, or that everybody involved has equitable interest. I mean, so you're a wholesaler, right? You're new, right? You don't have a buyer's list, right? But you got this great deal, right? So what do? You call some other wholesalers. You say, hey, man, I got this great deal. I don't have any buyers. Can you help me out? You know, I'll can you bring me a buyer? You know, I'll split the deal with you. I'll you know, I'll give you, 20% of the deal. I'll give you flat $2,000 out of the deal. Whatever it is, right? Whatever deal you strike with the other wholesaler. It's like, hey, yeah, I got this deal, man. I got no buyers. Can you help me out here? Boom. Guy's like, yeah, man, I got a buyer. Boom, here you go, right here. This guy will love that property. Well, you better make sure that you put some sort of a option in place, or actually make an assignment to this wholesaler, or do something to have paperwork in place, that gives that wholesaler an equitable interest in your property, so that there's no loose ends there, that somehow he wasn't marketing your property without having an equitable interest by bringing you this buyer. So just another little tidbit to make things more difficult, slow you down, a place for you to trip up, that we can snatch you up and slap you on the wrist. And I don't know what the penalties are for what they're going to find with people, but just another way to slip up that creates a gap that all of a sudden now the government has to step in and say, oh my God, look at this gap that people are falling through. We have to come in here and close up this gap now, and you guys can no longer do that. So that's how they do it. They set you up with BS rules that obviously they don't tell anybody about. You don't know about these rules, right? Where's the website that says, okay, here's the new governmental regulation for wholesaling? It ain't out there, right? So how do you know what the heck they're doing? But so they send out these things, these regulations, don't tell anybody about them. Then when you start, screwing up because you didn't know about it, now it creates a gap. People are falling into the gap. Oh, look at that. There's a gap people are falling into. We got to step in and fill this gap so people aren't getting hurt, and we have to protect the public from the problem that we caused, but we can blame it on them because they didn't know about it. That's how it works. They caused the problem. Don't tell anybody what it is. Public starts falling into the hole, getting hurt. Now we got to step in, plug the hole, and blame you for our problem. And boom, now we're blaming you. We cut you off. You can't do that anymore. Sorry, Charlie. That's the way we shut you down, Jack. That's the way we keep you from making money. So with that, I love this country. But there's great opportunity, but you know what? Every day it's getting shut down and shut down and shut down. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It's getting harder and harder and harder. It's getting more technical and and all these things, because of the ruse of, we have to protect the public, and it's all under, like I said, it's all under something that they started. Put out a freaking website. They're all over the place. You're the government. You freaking spend money like it's, I don't even want to go there, but start a website. Here's the regulations for this industry. Let everybody know, and make it something that, hey, it's easy to read. All right. Here's what's in place. Here's what's new. Here's what we're thinking about. How about 3 columns? That's simple, right? This is what you need to know. This is what just happened that you really need to know. This is what we're thinking about that you need to know about that's coming. 3 simple things. That's it. What it is now, or what it was, what it is now, what it might be. That's all we need to know. Simple. Do it. Anyway, the other thing that I was thinking about that was a new twist was assigning, because assignment contracts generally always read selling the property for, I'm assigning this property. You're not assigning the property, you're assigning the contract. And that's where they're getting a little bit sticky on the fact that, hey, what do you mean? You're not licensed. You can't sell property. What are you talking about? I'm not licensed. I can't sell property. Yeah, you can't sell somebody else's property. If you're signing a contract and your contract reads, Joe Smith LLC is assigning this property to John Jones LLC, right? Very sticky right there. You're just selling a property. you know, and even advertising the property. That's where that equitable interest comes in place. So very, very troublesome thought there that, you know, because, you know, what better way to sell, what better way to shut us down than to, you know, focus on that you have to be licensed to sell property BS. Another place I don't even want to go. And you know what? For those of you who, I'm going to say something here that's probably going to piss a lot of people off, but for those of you who don't get pissed off by this, for those of you who realize and understand this, hey, obviously this is not for you. All right. But for those of you who do get pissed off about it, look in the mirror. I have to be licensed to sell property, which means I got to go down, study a bunch of BS laws that I'll never use in the actual performance of selling a property. And you can ask 90% of realtors how much of that BS they learned on to take to pass the test that they actually freaking use. So I have to go learn all this BS, take this stupid little test that, you know, I'm paying somebody to pretty much give me the answers that any Joe Schmo can pass this test. All I got to do is pay for it, right? And then I'm okay. You're licensed. You went out and you went through the motions. You put up the money. You funneled something into a, you know, a bunch of BS that, you know, nobody requires. And now you're, you know, clear. You're okay. You can go sell somebody else's house for them. But you can't do it on your own. You can't just do it. You got to go license, hang your license under a broker, somebody who's been doing it for longer than you. You have to go out there and hang your license with a broker and do things their way. You got to go learn how they do it. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to do it. You know what? There's, you know, let's cattle the herd into the corral here and keep everybody doing the same, you know, walking in the same circle. It doesn't work that way. This is a free country. We can sell property any way we wish. You know, it's crazy. So anyway, just a lot of things that were on my mind today as far as wholesaling itself is concerned, the overall picture of wholesaling, some things for you guys to maybe open your eyes to that you didn't know about, some things to watch for that could possibly be coming down the road, some new rules. Just understand that it's getting tighter. Trust me when I tell you, government doesn't like us. Government wants to shut us down. Government doesn't want us out there, you know, doing great deals and flipping property and making big money. That's just the bottom line. And once they figure out the way to shut us down, it will happen. Wholesaling will someday probably go away because everybody will have to be licensed to sell. Anyway, with that, I'm done here. Oh, universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire. Everybody have a great Wednesday. We'll see you back here at the end of the session on Freedom Friday.